How we doing, folks? We're the Ford Transit here, 152, so 2015, 194,000 on the clock. The customer's already put a turbo in it, but he said when it restarted there was an oil light on. Now he thinks there's a problem with the oil pressure switch circuit, and he's just asked us to take a look at it. He wasn't sure how to proceed, so we're going to have a look at it here now and see how we go. So here we go. You can see in the back here, there's the new turbo fitted. I'm going to pull out this airbox and disconnect a few bits and pieces, give me a bit of room, and then we'll proceed from there. So what I'm doing, just really quickly, is I'm going to loosen the banjo bolt in on the turbo. I've disconnected the injectors so it won't start, and I just want to see if we're getting any oil at the turbo, and then we'll go from there. Okay, crank it please. Hold it. So I've no oil pressure at the top of the turbo, so I'm just going to go down and have a look at the bottom end of that pipe and disconnect it and just crank it, and let's see if there's any oil coming out there, and if not, I'm going to go after the sump and the oil pump. Crank it there for me. Hold it. So I have no oil pressure, so we're just draining the sump here now. And you can see that there. The oil dripping. I'm going to pull the sump off and we're going to have a look at the oil pump and see if we can see anything wrong. So here we are, we have the sump off. So this is our oil pump. Chain is still intact. This is the pickup. The strainer's clean. So I'm actually going to take off the pump and disassemble it and see if I can see anything causing the problem. So I'm just going to crank over the engine here and make sure the pump is turning before I take it off, and it is. So I'm going to move on to the next step and take the pump off the engine. So I stripped down the pump. It's a vane type pump, just the center housing of it. It's hard to see in there, but you might see the reflection of the oil. There's a bit of you can see filings in it, and the reason you can see that is this wear here in this end floating the pump, which will just let the oil flow out through that. Wouldn't be enough tolerance in it, so we're going to throw a new oil pump into it and go again. So before I put the pump in, I'm just going to prime it up with a little bit of oil in on the fins, just in around it, just to so it's not starting from bone dry when we crank it over, and that'll save any excess wear. Like the other one has probably started dry once or twice by the look of it, and just general wear. So I've the new pump installed and aligned. There's a little bit of play in these. They have to be lined up straight with the chain of the top. Just going to clean all this stuff off now, clean the sump, seal it up, and throw a sump back on, and then we'll let it dry out, and then we'll start it and see how we get on then. So here we are, sump's back on. You can see the sealer along here. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to refill it with oil, and then we'll test for flow and pressure after that. So I've just filled the Transit up with oil. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to loosen the banjo bolt at the top of the turbo. The injector is still disconnected, and I'm going to just check the flow at the turbo before I decide whether I'm going to let it start or not. And I'd say we'll find now a new pump in it. Okay, Frank, crank it there, please. Crank it over. Okay, have a look. So I've a good flow of oil now at the turbo, so I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to start it and see what happens, and see if they actually kill the old new turbo they put on from no oil pressure. So I'm sitting in the Transit here after a test drive, and we just put it up and checked over it. I'm going to get one of the lads to drive it overnight. No oil leaks, no oil lights on, all the clocks and everything clear, driving well. So another good fix. Happy with that. We're going to give it back to the customer tomorrow, all washed and ready to go. Just a quick review of what we done. Customer fitted a new turbo to this himself, and when he fitted it, he said the oil light was staying on. He thought it was a wiring problem, but I just done a quick flow test and loosened the bolt at the top of the turbo, and there's no oil getting to it. So I went down the road of taking off the sump and having a look at the actual oil pump, and the oil pump was very badly worn inside, which was causing not to build oil pressure. Replaced that with a genuine Ford pump, put it back together, sealed the sump, let everything dry, filled it with oil, test drove it, happy now, test drove it, and good fix. Should be no more problems with it. The engine's running fine, it's driving, boosting, everything should be. He got away with it, he was lucky. So that's it. Thank you for watching. See you again.